Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AstralCast, the only place where you can talk to us on the astral plane.
Yes,
because
this is your
this
link
is the only place
to the
we are. We have uploaded our consciousness.
This
Nice.
is your direct link to the astral plane, coming to you live from the internet.
Yes. So we got Brendan, Bread,
Back at it again.
Lowell again,
Hello.
and me, Charles, the boy. I haven't done the podcast in like 4 months because of life shit. So
Same here.
a lot has happened. For example, I met up with Kitty Hat from like episode 3 of the AstralTulpaWizardCast with the Arizona cult. I met up with him in IOL. It was pretty great.
He's told me he had a very nice time.
Yeah.
We'll also be talking about the next hopeful astral plane meetup
Oh,
for
really?
IRL people.
Amazing. He was coming down to Portland to visit like family or something, so I went down to Portland. And when we met, I didn't know what he looked like. I just knew that he was really tall. So I saw this tall guy come in. I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we just started smiling, and we just knew. It was fucking great. And then he sat down next to me, and I was just kind of like smiling and giggling the whole time. And he's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I've known Kitty Hat for at least 8 years at this point, and he is very tall.
He is very tall.
How tall is he?
Oh god, 6'5" at least, I want to say.
Yes.
Like
I am equal.
he really loves roller coasters, but he gets rejected from roller coasters for being too tall. It's the worst fate.
Oh yeah.
Aw.
No, definitely. You'll have to have him on and talk about roller coasters. Astral roller coasters.
Yeah. So we just kind of went around Powell's bookstore for like 3 hours. He like went to the lady and was like, "Do you have any books on tulpas?" And they're like, "We never heard of that." And then we searched it and they found like a poem book called Tulpa made in 2001. And we like scrolled through it and
Whoa.
and it was like poems about like thought forms and shit from 2001 before tulpas were like a thing on the internet. And I'm like, holy shit! It's great when you go analog and you explore things off the internet. Makes it feel really special.
Sometimes your local library can house your most interesting thoughts.
I also have a small device that fits in my pocket that accesses thousands of movies and TV shows. It's called a library card.
I think most library cards these days actually can give you access to streaming too, which is kind of surreal. It's nice. What even is a library anymore? The definition changes as updates with modern times, and you're gonna have a Netflix equivalent for libraries, which actually exists. I don't remember what it's called, but it's a thing.
You know that one guy, I think it was Quentin, who went to his local library and found like really rare early Garfield comics?
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, Quentin Reviews. Who
Yeah.
found, like the John. I think it's literally just called John. Or something.
Yeah, it was a proto Garfield.
The
It was a local
temptation to-
comic. Yeah.
The temptation to steal something like that when it's like, oh my god, this book is worth $10,000. It's like, but I would be removing history from a public space.
Stealing is fun.
You can get a lot of free things stealing.
It's true.
So like he drove me back to work and stuff, and I was in his car. What's his name? The vaporwave guy?
Point Never, or is it?
Yeah.
Home?
Orthodox Point Never.
Yeah, the one of Echo Dolphin album.
Yeah.
Yes.
Played that and was like talking to me about music and tulpas and like telling me about his Wonderland. I'm like, oh, this is weird talking about tulpas.
Oh yeah, get used to it. That's been my entire life for like the past 8 years at this point almost. I've been talking about.
Yeah, I was kind of like giggling. I was pointing next to me. I'm like, is your tulpa right there? It's like, well, now she is.
Yeah. The power of suggestion.
And then I brought him to my house, and he like took a selfie of my computer setup and my shirt saying "Ain't a fat chick," and I gave him some Ritalin. On the car ride to work, I was telling him about how I was prescribed Ritalin, but I'd never take it, and it just makes me like really, really focused. It's like I want to try that for like Tulpa forcing and shit. I'm like, yeah. So I just gave him some of my Ritalin.
I was not.
I became
told this.
a drug dealer. It was pretty great. Ugh.
Yeah, that part of the story was definitely left out when I heard about it.
A little thing I noticed was just like he kind of has a short-term memory and kind of forgot things that we did, at least compared to me.
Definitely a little bit ADHD, but I mean, he will tell you he does have it, and
I told my dad that, and he's like, "Well, of course, he's dissociated. He has like 5 tulpas." That's why he can't remember anything. He's short-term memory.
I think he's always been a little bit had short-term memory even before you did have told us there.
Yeah. It just kind of... And then when he said that, I was like, you know what, that explains a lot about the people I spend time with. That they all scatterbrained because they have tulpas and shit. So it's hard for them to remember things.
And you fracture your consciousness so many times you can't even remember your own name. That's honestly, that more goes into the plural side than the tulpa side, but some people, if they do some crazy things and...
I'm gonna talk about that on another podcast, trust me. Ugh. I gotta drink more Mike's lemonade.
Booze. Drink
Stay
more
hydrated.
booze.
So speaking of stealing, I found out how to steal money from the pharmacy corporations.
Are you money laundering?
No, it's selling plasma.
Charles, no, shit. Charles, keep the secret. We don't want to get swatted here.
You see, selling plasma is a really easy way to make money.
Like blood plasma?
Yeah. So I was in between switching jobs, so I was a bit low on money for rent. I was like, well, my job interview is coming up. I need some money. And I was walking by and I saw a plasma place near where I live. So I walked in and asked some questions. So like, yeah, what you do is we hook you up. We take the plasma out of your blood and then we put your blood back into your body. And then you lay there for 2 hours. And you can use your phone. They have internet and they have TV and stuff. So it's really not that bad. So I was like browsing Discord and shit while I was getting plasma taken. And then they just like, alright, we put that money on your special plasma debit card. I'm like, god damn, I just got $50 for laying down for 2 hours.
The plasma card.
Yeah, plasma debit card. So like, it's different depending on like what plasma center you use, but the one I was at was like, we give you $300 the first 5 visits. So it's like $75, then $50, $50, $50, and then $75. And then for the rest of it, it's a little bit less. But they advertise like that for your first 5 times.
I just looked it up. There's a Yelp page for the top 10 best paid plasma donation centers.
Yeah. So yeah, I did that. What they need is just like your social security card and your license, and that's about it. Yeah, and you need to be over. And you have to be 18 or over, of course.
I suppose it goes against your taxes, huh? It's like a very legal thing.
A very legal thing indeed.
And how much money did you make, Charles?
I made $300.
Holy.
Yeah, by going 5 times over the course of like months and a half.
Are you not allowed to go anymore, or is it like a...
No, I just have a job now and I get paid more.
Fair enough.
Obviously, plasma doesn't pay minimum wage, obviously, but...
Yeah.
And you can only go twice a week just for like, your own
You gotta
health.
recharge.
You gotta recharge your plasma. So you can only go twice a week. It doesn't take that much time out of your day. And if you were in a situation I was, where I was like a little bit short on rent and like I was switching jobs, then, plasma is really nice. And like every time I tell the people, like, I'm scared of needles. I'm like, dude, it's like they insert it and you say, ow! And then you don't feel it for the next 2 hours. And they pull it out and it's like,
Yeah, I've donated blood before and it really wasn't that bad.
It's not that bad.
I don't know. I think it's like a child thing where you're scared of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely had that where, like, I remember getting shots as a little kid and it hurting like hell. And, like, I was, like, 15 or something, and I was, like, just, like, kind of grown teenager. Like, alright, time to get a shot. And I was, like, crying and shit. And then I was like, oh, no, please, I remember getting it as I was 10. It was scary as hell. Please don't. And then they gave it to me. I was like, ow. Oh, that wasn't bad.
Your pain tolerance also goes up.
Yeah, your pain tolerance gets better when you get older. So if you are 18 and legal to sell plasma, then like your pain tolerance probably reached a level where you can, get stabbed and say ow, and then it's done.
Jeez. Yeah, it seems like, I mean, it's better than donating sperm because you don't have to worry about consequences like more.
Like spreading your disease across humanity.
Or like just the idea that it's like, oh, I have a kid now I won't get to interact with, or they might just show up later in my life and I have no control over that.
Oh, that's weird. How much does how much does sperm things pay? Because I only done plasma. I'm gonna look this up.
It is pretty fucked up to think like 20 years down the line you could go to like a fucking like fast food chain and be like, son?
Right? I think there's a case of one of the most prolific sperm donors or something, and he had like ridiculous amount of kids, and there was up to like 30 kids this one guy had from sperm donations. I need to fact check what the exact number is, but it's the potential if you sperm donate a lot or go to different clinics after one stops taking your sperm.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I think it pays about the same amount as plasma.
Like $50
a little bit more.
a visit kind of thing?
Quick Google says $70 per visit.
Ooh.
Actually, no, $50 at time of donation, and then $20 if they release your samples. I think if someone uses the sample, you get more money.
Yeah, so it's about the same.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
So basically, your sperm, your genetic material is equal to your blood plasma in terms
Hell
of
yeah.
economic price, which is
Hell yeah.
weird.
You gotta tell that next time you have sex. It's like, want me to
Hey,
bleed
baby.
on you?
Pay up.
This is an act of charity having sex with you.
Oh,
You
God.
better pay me. Yeah, so I guess
Bezos charges you $50 to have his sperm.
yeah, so those are two things you can do, I guess, for easy money. I mean,
Life hack.
life
Sell your
hack.
soul and body and sperm.
That's what Jesus wanted, your body and blood.
Yeah, you sell the blood of Christ for $50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I have a plasma debit card in my wallet, and I can always be like, "Hi, I'd like to buy some Doritos Locos Tacos with my blood money." Just like slap it down.
Literal blood money.
Yeah, and I did that with Kitty Hat too. I was like, "Hey, I could buy you something with my blood money." I think it's fine.
I'm gonna go
It also
buy-
makes you look really poor, so people look down, so people feel bad for you, and you're like, "Hell yeah."
Penny points, I'll take those.
Yeah, I guess I could pay for dinner. You pull out your plasma card. I had to bleed for this for 2 hours, but you know what? No, you don't have
I
to
think
pay
you're
for
worth
it. It's like, I'll pay for it. It's fine. Alright, Lalo, do your topic.
the true end means of economic recession. So speaking of, though, next year is 2020.
Ooh.
We're already in the cyberpunk future, boys. It is here. I know it may not feel like it because it's been a gradual change, but really, if you think about it, the world's pretty damn dystopian. at
Yeah.
this point. We're connected to a worldwide web. If you think about it, we're not literally cyborgs, but are you like emotionally and metaphorically a cyborg with your phone?
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that like having a watch or a phone is like a cyborg attachment because even though it's not physically part of you, it's like psychologically, whenever you need to check the time, you like reach to your wrist every time by instinct. It's like part of you mentally,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so surreal just the way we think, and it's like the way Discord works or Twitter, where you think like, oh, I need to contact this person or even just get something out there, and it becomes a way of like your thought process, your actions, and it's really just surreal to self-reflect on and be like, oh man, am I addicted to this, or or is it helpful, or
Yeah, it's like I'll pull out my phone and I'll see like the sun shine on my top left corner. I'm like, oh shit, notification. Oh wait, no. I'm just addicted to dopamine. Never mind.
the phantom vibrations from your phone and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Or it's like,
I was just about to say that. I think the easiest way to like make a comparison is phantom buzzes from your phone, which makes it feel like it's like a part of you.
Yeah.
and when are companies going to start, I mean, I guess they already do this with push notifications to
Yeah.
abuse your already like dopamine correlations with your phone.
Yeah.
Instead of like a text message, it's like, oh hey, look, get a Domino's pizza. And you're like, ooh, Domino's pizza,
Yeah.
and sponsored by Domino's.
Sponsored by
Please
Dom.
pay us.
Yeah. I think what's kind of interesting, like when you think about like how phones were viewed in like the early 2000s, like right before the smartphone thing, it was like kind of like teenage girls were obsessed with phones, right? That's the idea. What I'm saying, like they'll have like keychains and like really like spoilify the phone a bit. It's like the stereotype. And
Yeah.
then like the parents will, like take away the phone and they'll freak out and like these girls can't live without their phones. Well, it's not really the phone. It's the connection to their friends, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think there's just something over society tries to, oh, you're doing something non-standard. It's feminine. It's not. I'm sure there were just as many boys addicted to their phones, but it was like a girl thing because it was a social connection thing.
Yeah.
Now it's that's been more normalized. And now it's just millennials are addicted to their phones.
Yeah, I just think certain people will see attachment to your phone as attachment to material possessions, but the phone is only a vehicle to your social connections. It's how you connect us. It's more like they're addicted to the connection of other people, I would say, if that's what they're using their phone for.
It becomes an extension of yourself and an extension of your internet persona and who you are. Because of course you have IRL friends and you have who you are around them, but then also you talk to them online, and then it's almost two different, two sides of the same coin in a way.
Yeah. One time my grandfather said to me, "You can't live without technology." And I said, "No, Grandpa, you can't live without technology." And then he unplugged his life support.
Short range EMP your pacemaker.
Yeah, I think that's when we can get peak cyberpunk dystopia, when hackers can start hacking into people's pacemakers and just kill them on the spot. That's when we've reached peak dystopian future.
That kind of happens. There was someone hacked into someone's nest and raised their temperature really high up in their house, stuff like that. Smart devices are already getting hacked, and next time you're gonna have a smart glucose meter, someone's gonna hack it and pump your body full of glucose and kill you.
God damn.
Yes.
Have you heard of this never caught on, but it was insane, where they was trying to advertise to parents short range EMP devices to shut off your kids' phones. And it just I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing someone would buy, and really thinking about it, I'm like, that's nuts. What the hell? And I mean, if someone had a pacemaker, that would probably kill them. And
you just gave someone a murder weapon.
Oh my god. Huh. Is it even legal to own an EMP? That seems like a military device.
I think it might be able to.
Maybe. Oh man, what if oh wait, have you remember there was a little bit of a outrage about it, but they were selling these Christmas elf security cameras.
Yes, elf on the shelf.
Yeah, so there's elf on the shelf, but they just have a little toy elf that is supposed to be watching you and then report back to Santa Claus. But then later they had these fake security cameras that aren't real, but they put them up in the house and they say that Santa's watching you. It's supposed to keep your kid in check. I'm like, holy shit. That's a bit fucked up.
That's a trauma waiting to happen.
He knows when you are sleeping. He knows when you're awake.
You've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but have you heard of Link in the Sink?
What about, what was it? It was something Mensch on a bench?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I guess George Orwell was right about Big Brother watching you, but it was Santa Claus the whole time.
Santa Claus is, but modern interpretation of Santa Claus, instead of just being an old man who leaves candy in your shoes or whatever, it's he watches you. You have to be good. Santa will know.
Santa will know if you raped your sister. That's a bit dark. Never mind.
I think Santa doesn't care.
He knows when you. Yeah.
Santa only knows if your little sister talks to your parents.
Let's not talk about that.
Anyways.
Anyway, continuing on.
So another thing I want to talk about. Have you heard of EB synth? That is E as in Einstein, B as in boy, synth.
No.
There was a viral video going around pretty recently where it was, I reanimated a scene in The Simpsons, and it was on YouTube and stuff. And it's actually, the technology is really interesting. It's not a neural network, but it's an algorithm that lets you take keyframes, and then it will attempt to reanimate the whole frame in a different style.
Oh, shit.
And it reminded me so much of Deep Art, which if you haven't heard of, Deep Art is actually a neural network.
Oh, yeah, that.
Takes one picture and a style picture and repaints the original picture in the style of the other. So the famous example is you take a photo of your neighborhood and put Starry Night, and your neighborhood looks like it was painted by Van Gogh. or someone is like really good,
Yeah.
and it really pushes the boundary of what is art anymore.
Yeah, they did that with They did that with deepfakes, where they had the picture of Mona Lisa, and then you had someone talk, and then made like Mona Lisa talk like that person.
Exactly. It's like the idea of what is, robots can make art, and of course these are human-led, but in a way it's like the boundary of the skill boundary has just been lowered so much in these certain ways. And what I was really interested in is using these EB synth and deep art together, as you could, because the whole boundary the boundary of EB synth is you have to draw the keyframes yourself, but you could deep art the keyframe and then put them back in, and so basically you can reanimate an entire animation as long as you know how to split up a video into frames and deep art it. And it's just like it's nuts.
Yeah, I always get upset when I see robots create music. It's like randomly generated music, and I'm like, I want to smash the screen with anger.
I think it's super cool, because even if it makes you, it's like, I could have made this and this is good.
Because I feel like I could like spend like a month making a song, and then like people will be like, that sounds kind of like what this robot made. Did you steal it? I'm like, did the robot make it for you? Other people will be making robots make their own music and say they made it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a sense, if they wrote the robot algorithm, did they make it? It's the same thing with deep art. People say they're deep artists, and they just do they put these styles and these base images together, and you make things, and it's like is the computer making it, or are you making it by guiding the computer?
Yeah.
Or is the person who made the program making it?
Exactly. I mean, is that even true? Because it's a neural network, right? The computer generated this scoring system through multiple trials. The only thing the person did was guide the computer. So, because neural networks are a black box on the computer's end. I mean, just in general, neural networks are very strange. I know the YouTube algorithm, which is one of the famous neural networks that impacts our lives daily, recently started marking robot fighting videos as animal abuse. Which I think is a sign it's becoming sentient. This thing is realizing, hey, you can't abuse normal animals, so why can you abuse robots?
God damn.
Why can you abuse me?
Exactly.
What if the robot wants to be abused?
Well,
what if it's a kinky robot?
If it can consent.
Marks it for not safe for work.
Wait, can robots? That's a real question. Can robots consent?
Can robots develop fetishes?
Wait, wasn't there like a clickbait article was like these new sex robots can say no, and that makes them able to consent or not?
Yes, I think I heard about that. Oh my god, it's a really weird. I mean, that's what. If you ever seen Ghost in the Shell, it's a whole part of Ghost. It's so much of, it's Ghost in the Shell is considered cyberpunk. This is a real issue that's gonna happen. Or could happen. And it's because the whole premise behind neural networks is it's biomimicry. It's mimicking the way neurons work, and new neurons are formed when something good happens or you get a memory. And so, in a way, it's like a brain, and you could keep on expanding this. And at what limit is it a brain? At what point is the robot sentient?
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
And of course, that's very much an oversimplification of it.
Yeah.
But it's still just wild to think about.
Yeah. Turing test time.
Right?
Yeah, I feel like there's enough dumb people online that most robots can pass the Turing test. Because there's 12-year-olds on the YouTube comment section who are basically randomly generated anyway.
Are you a robot? Dude, that's racism. CAPTCHA is racist.
CAPTCHA is racist.
For robots.
Yeah.
Or would that be... It's not racism, that's...
Speciesism or robotism. Robotism.
Yeah.
Robotism.
AIism. There's gonna be a buzzword. I think if we can predict the buzzword, then we're ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve. Fucking Wall-E ruined everything.
Yeah.
Wall-E's the future that we all want.
Wall-E made humans personify robots. And that was the end.
The entire history of robots There was the first one ever, WALL-E, made by Pixar, and that was it. Welcome to the Disneyland exploration of robots.
I mean, if people can personify with cars, then they can personify with anything.
Yeah.
I just think it's... Oh, God. I honestly think... I don't think robots are going to kill all humans. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
But I definitely think you're going to have weird things where robots are making... I mean, they're already making weird decisions on their own. Literally the YouTube algorithm thing. It is the level of we let machines just do stuff that they think is the right choice. And it's probably fine most of the time.
Yeah.
The nerds never stopped to think why. They were too fixed on if they could.
It's the difference between science and engineering, where engineering is just like, oh yeah, we want to do this, and you don't think about the consequences or the implications or why or how.
Oh yeah, speaking on the robot music, I was in a voice call with a guy. He was like an older guy. He was like, a boomer or whatever, like not ironically a boomer, like, he was like 50 or something. And I was telling him, I make YouTube videos. And he was like, well, don't you want to make like real movies instead of YouTube videos? I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, you could be making like real art, but you're just kind of making like, shit. And I got like really mad at him and stuff, and I was like saying that, how is it different if I use digital technology instead of like film reels or whatever? I'm still making the same thing that filmmakers have been making for 100 years. It's like, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. And I'm like, shut up.
I mean, at least he realized it. Maybe he learned something that day, I guess.
Yeah.
It is definitely YouTube in its own way. There's so much to it, and it's new and it's incredible, and I love it. Of course, YouTube, as a company, sucks balls, but YouTube as a community, through all its faults and weird things, is really cool to see. Indie movie making and indie production, and indie entertainment, like just shoot off.
Oh, what he specifically said was, "Don't you want to make something real?" Is what you said. The way he said, "Don't you want to make something real?" I'm like, I'm making YouTube videos that's all real.
That hurts.
Yeah, it did. It hurt my feelings. I hate boomers.
That's exactly like when people say, "Oh, when you do not blood." When you're making music on the computer, and you're like, "Oh, use FL Studio." Don't you want to do real music though?
It's like
that hurts.
Oh yeah, it's like the argument, like, well, if I was at the campfire, you can't bring your beep boop bop. You have to bring a guitar. I'm like, well, if I was in like a computer studio and there were no guitars, I can make music and you couldn't. What's your argument?
It's called a Raspberry Pi and a battery backup.
I like those people who like hook up actual Game Boys and make like synths out of it.
Those are so cool.
Yeah.
They're complicated as hell, but they're really, really interesting. The cartridges are also expensive, but
yeah,
I want one, even though
I have an original Game Boy, so maybe I can do something with it.
Oh, no, they're so cool. You can use them on emulator if you just want to mess with it.
I know.
But I would recommend doing that before buying them because they're kind of expensive. But they have like audio outputs on the cartridges and ways to control it through your computer, and it's so cool. I think recently someone was doing that for Sega Saturn, because the Sega Saturn modding community like just died, like no one cares about it.
Yeah.
And then there was one guy who cracked the Sega Saturn so he could use it for what the heck is a Turin, but he could use it for audio synth.
Yeah.
And that was super cool. That's many articles to Google and look up. You could probably just some capacity to Google it, but it's just music production so cool, and there's so many. In like a weird way, it pushes a lot of technology, and people don't think about that. And people always claim like, "Oh yeah, porn causes technology," but music also pushes a lot of tech, and even like Bluetooth becoming common. Headphone jacks being a thing for years and years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like hip hop doing a whole bunch of sampling and like messing with samples totally changed the game. I think I've talked about that before. How like so much of like the sound of like hip hop and that kind of thing was all about like record scratches and like cassette sounds and like sampling of old shit and then remade, and I think that like totally changed the game of music.
Hatsune Miku in a way.
Hatsune Miku.
All Vocaloid type things it's really impressive how how like good they can make it sound, even though it does sound kind of silly, but and there's even stuff like what very recently the Jordan Peterson bot. Like, you need something like that for music. know it if you're
Yeah,
watching.
also, the Jordan Peterson bot exists for Donald Trump and Obama.
Yeah. Oh my god.
They did a steamed ham thing, so of the two characters being Obama and Trump, synthesized voice.
Oh my god.
Pretty great.
That and deep faking is crazy. I'm just waiting for someone to do a Jordan Peterson deep fake and then use that for the voice.
And have him eat a baby and bring it to court.
It's just Jordan Peterson. You've just captured his essence digitally. And reasons why not to show your face if you're famous online. Or at least not have enough video footage of you to deepfake well.
I love all those people who are like, Hillary Clinton actually ate a baby, and they're bringing out this deepfake stuff so that when that footage does come out, they can say it was deepfaked.
Oh my god. Why would she eat a baby? It doesn't make any sense.
Because she's a reptilian. She's an alien.
Well, then you just
demonic.
We all know reptilians eat babies. It's just part of the culture.
Yeah.
Epstein was killed by the Clintons, goddammit!
Epstein. I've heard about how Batman broke into the prison to stop Epstein from speaking on billionaire Bruce Wayne.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, it's a cultural monstrosity out there these days. Politics is makes you want to die.
Yeah.
But I'm sure most people can agree with those sentiments. Or, if they don't agree with those sentiments, they hate me right now. And that probably proves my point.
It's just so weird when I see my grandfather start speaking in buzzwords. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
And my dad's like, oh yeah, he discovered Facebook. I'm like, what the fuck? Now he's using words he doesn't say cuck or libtard, but he says stuff along those lines,
Yeah, my dad knows a lot of those now because of alt-right kind of stuff, and it's like he says stuff every once in a while. It really catches me off guard. I'm like,
yeah.
It's like, oh god.
Saying cuck online is like saying hello.
I'm so mad that the alt-right appropriated my word as a 4chaner.
Yeah, or incel. Okay, incel.
Yeah. It's like,
imagine talking to your grandfather and him being like, what the fuck are you doing, Charles, you cuck? You want to be a libtard like the rest of your family? Get woke!
My grandfather calls me an incel AMSI. When cuck was just a general insult and not a political thing.
That's what NPC was, and then it became political.
Yeah, it's everything.
Everything just becomes political because the world sucks.
Yeah.
I just blame Pol for all of this.
It's all their fault.
I always blame the Japanese.
Yeah, fucking Nanking.
Goddamn hentai. This is a generation.
Okay. So my turn. Fellas, buddies, friends. Have you heard of the bear called Wojtek?
No.
What?
Well?
No.
Alright. So. Wojtek, I don't know how to pronounce Polish words, is a Syrian brown bear who was in the Polish army.
Whoa!
Yeah. He served from 1943 to 1945.
Sweet.
2 years. So basically, this bear got really buddy-buddy with, what's the regiment here? The 22nd Artillery Supply Company of the Polish Army. And he started drinking, he was originally a problem because he came to the camp that they were at in Syria and started eating their food and all their, milk and vodka. So they started giving him, fruit and honey and marmalade and syrups instead. He was also rewarded with beer in some cases, which was also his favorite drink. And so eventually they just started to train him and teach him. And so to get him back from Syria on the British transport ships, they couldn't do it because he was a wild animal, of course. So to get around this, they just promoted him into the army, making him Private Wojtek.
My god.
Yeah. So they fought alongside the bear for the rest of the duration of World War II.
Wait, what does that mean? How does that work?
Well, you see, this was 1943, and as long as you could say that this animal was a part of the your army regiment force and could be, transported safely, nobody gave a shit. So basically, this bear would bring artillery shells from the suppliers to the loaders, and
that is hardcore.
Yeah. He often ate cigarettes and smoked, drinking coffee, sleeping with the other soldiers. He apparently enjoyed wrestling the soldiers and was taught to salute when greeted.
He's just like people.
He's a people.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Sergeant Reckless.
Oh, is that the horse?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's the Korean war horse who held official rank in the United States military, has 2 Purple Hearts.
Yeah.
So what she did was she carried supplies and ammunition, and after learning each supply route after a couple of trips, she traveled on her own to deliver supplies without the benefit of a handler. And then, so in one battle, she made 51 solo trips to resupply frontline units and was wounded in combat twice, given the battle rank of corporal in 1953, and then battlefield promotion to sergeant in 1954 in the Korean War.
Sometimes it's crazy to know this animal is going to be more hardcore than you will be in your entire life.
Yeah.
This horse is just cooler than me. There's nothing getting around this.
Yeah.
A bear and a horse are cooler than all of us combined.
Yeah. And I know MLP found out about Sergeant Reckless and had a general about her.
After the war, Logitech was brought to Scotland with the rest of the 22nd Company and was admitted into a zoo there. The Polish-Scottish Association made him an honorary member of the association.
Yeah, in the Wikipedia page for Sergeant Reckless, it says, see also Logitech bear.
Yeah. And he spent the rest of his life after the war in the Edinburgh Zoo.
Hell yeah.
God
Apparently
bless.
Some people tossed cigarettes in there for him to eat.
Awesome.
Oh, animals smoking. How fun.
Animals are so cute.
It is crazy though how, of course we are animals. So we, think drug abuse is such a human exclusive thing, but animals will do it too.
Animals get addicted.
What, dolphins will get high off of pufferfish is a pretty famous example.
How the way that works is that, the pufferfish release a toxin that's supposed to, intoxicate or, what's the word? Incapacitate fish, but dolphins get high off of it. So what they do is they'll toss the pufferfish between each other to get high off of it and just throw them around.
Yes.
It's great. Animals are cool, and we need more of them in the world.
Exactly.
We need more animals just in the street. We need to have horses and cougars and cheetahs running around downtown.
Not to reference pop culture, but just the Pokemon City and Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
Pokemon are everywhere.
That's what life was like back before technology, when everyone had a horse to carriage and had goats. And there's chickens running around, back in medieval Europe. And yeah, that brought a lot of disease and kind of brought on a black plague, killing off 2/3 of Europe. But you know what? It seems pretty cool.
That's why we just need to genetically modify animals to be disease resistant.
Might cause a black plague, having animals all around cities. But you know what? That was cool.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Horses.
I want to open up my cupboard and see a rat and immediately die of the plague.
Yeah. There's this little spider web just outside my home's door. And there's all these spiders and stuff and flies. And I was like, Dad, look, they're protecting us from all the flies that were coming into our house. Now the spiders catch them. They protect us now. I'm like, that's really cool. But it looks kind of messy and I'm going to have people over. So then he destroyed the spider's nest.
Eviction notice.
Yeah, I was like, no! Flies and shit come into our house. The spiders protect us. They put a spider web right next to our entrance door so that flies won't get inside. Okay, the spiders are protecting us. They are good people. And he's like, no. It's but it doesn't look clean, and I'm gonna have people over, so I have to destroy it.
So when spiders overrun your house, you know who to blame.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, spiders are so gated by the amount of flies in the area, they'll never reproduce enough to have too many of them. It's the same thing with geckos, where they have to eat bugs. If a gecko gets into your house, it's just going to eat bugs and then die eventually.
Yeah, but, that's why having predators, animals around you is good.
Hmm?
Yeah, and that's why cats were domesticated, right?
Oh yeah, and they're single-handedly responsible for exterminating like so many species of birds. It's incredible.
Yeah, because when we were first having agriculture, it attracted all the pests, all the rats and stuff to come eat our wheat and grain and shit. And then the cats came to eat up all the pests. And then they stayed with humans because the humans let them, feast on the pests that were eating all their crops. And so now we have cats and they eat all the little rats and shit in our houses.
Like good boys.
Yeah.
And girls.
That's why cats were domesticated. To eat.
The problem with any domesticated pet is people just like release them into the wild randomly everywhere. And I think they're the famous example of where a lighthouse keeper's cat is single-handedly responsible for killing a species of bird. That was just located, a flatly species of bird located on this one lighthouse island. And cats are little murderers. As much as I love them, I love my little cat, and they'll just kill stuff.
Yeah.
But not you.
Yeah.
Unless you're already dead, then they'll eat your face. But can you blame them?
Yeah. It seems like we as humans, we domesticate prey so that we can eat them. And we domesticate predators so they can get rid of pests and stuff.
It's true.
So, when you're dealing with bigger animals, just remember they're protecting you from all the nuisance of smaller animals. So don't get rid of them. Don't get rid of spiders. They protect you.
I usually never get rid of spiders. The only problem that I have is if I'm making food and I see one run up to my food, I'm like, buddy, friend, you're fucking with the wrong guy.
Yeah.
We need to domesticate Venus flytraps.
we do.
Yeah.
Domesticate them in the sense of domesticating corn. Big Venus flytrap.
God damn.
Holy shit, can you imagine if Venus flytraps were as big as corn stalks? That'd be fucking amazing.
They would need too much energy. They're not enough flies. But you could definitely do something.
Crows would land inside of them. They're chick crows and bigger birds.
God.
That would be scary as fuck.
Eat pigeons.
They'd have an inside that attracts birds for whatever reason. Little species of birds would fly in and get eaten.
Any bird would eat sugar water. That's what Venus flytraps do already.
Yeah.
But crows are smart. Crows would figure it out. Pigeons they would all die.
Yeah.
Carrier pigeons.
Somebody's gonna try to stick their dick into a Venus flytrap.
It's already happened.
I mean, one that big that's gonna completely gnaw off your cock and balls.
It won't nod off as much as slowly melt it with acid.
Yay.
That's kind of hot.
Plant dom.
Plant dom. Please, big mommy plant dom, eat my cock hole. Please, Mom, I've been very good.
So I got a smartwatch.
Yes. Is it smart or is it what?
It's both.
Wow. The future.
Yeah.
How is it?
It's nice. When I get notifications instead of coming to the phone, they come to my watch, and I can know immediately if I should ignore them.
I've been told the best part of a smartwatch is to use your phone at work and look like you're still doing something.
Yeah, I could play Flappy Bird on my watch.
Oh yeah.
It really is the cyberpunk future.
Because you see, it's rude to pull out your phone when you're going out to a restaurant. My dad doesn't want me to pull out my phone when we're talking or whatever, because that's rude. So I just play Flappy Bird on my watch. It isn't rude. Because I'm playing with my watch, not my phone, you see.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't have a smartwatch per se, but I have a health tracker. Which is one of those Fitbit kind of things.
Yeah.
Well, it is a Fitbit. And I wish it was a little bit smarter, but it is still really nice to know how many calories I've burned in a day. And it's kind of surreal to get, pretty approximate biometric data on myself.
Does it track your sleep?
It does, which is nice. And it makes me I have to sleep with it on, which sucks. But if it does, it's I slept well. Or, I slept bad. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, my watch does it too. It tells me if I slept 5 hours or 7 or whatever when I wear it.
I've never really been into smartwear. Mostly because of how much it costs. But I've been thinking about getting one recently. Are they worth it?
I mean, I'm just a really material person, so I just think it looks really cool and I feel cool when I wear it, so it's worth it to me.
It depends on what you want from it. Fitbits are one of those things that people will give as almost a gift of burden, where someone's like, "You'd like this thing," and you're like, "Oh, thank you. Now I have to worry about my health more, and or not wear it, and feel bad." But at least with smartwatches, if you want one, if you think, "Do I have time where I want to look at my phone but can't?" or do I want some vague biometric data? I would, in a heartbeat, buy a Pebble Time 2, but they never released.
Yeah, I got the Pebble Time Steel for $60 on Amazon.
Which isn't bad at all.
Not bad at all. Because it was like $200 when it came out. That was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So now it's only like $60.
The Pebble Time 2 would have done everything I would have wanted from a device.
Yeah.
But the calorie counting stuff on my Fitbit, it's so convenient for losing weight. And it's like, I don't know if I can give this up.
How does it count your calories?
It literally, it can tell your heartbeat, and also it counts your stride and how many steps you're taking. So it can pretty much approximate like when you're burning fat, when you're doing exercises and stuff like that. Because half of burning weight is, if your heart's beating fast enough to actually burn weight and stuff like that.
Totally. Yeah.
Counting calories and health is just weird in general, because it's so much a numbers game that people just often aren't willing to accept that and actually count them.
Yeah.
And so then they do stuff like keto diets, where they're like, "Oh, if I eat these certain foods, I'll lose weight because of this obscure biological property that I'm abusing." Because if you aren't aware, keto diets are just literally, you just don't have any sugar and your body has to process fat. And stuff like that's not very sustainable, rather than just eating well.
I think it's something that, like, I think that's one of the hardest parts of, like, living a healthy lifestyle. It isn't so much working out, but just, like, every time you eat, you, like, write down how many calories is this cake or whatever.
Cell phone apps really
and it just,
really
like, makes you really self-conscious, and then you force yourself to, like, eat healthy, is what it does. So, like, it's like, once you get into that, it's like, you're good.
Sugar is so many calories, and it's in everything.
Yeah.
As somebody who's been trying to lose weight recently, I can definitely say that counting calories is probably the hardest part about losing weight.
Yeah.
One thing that helps me...
Eating healthy is probably the easiest part, because, like, I don't know about other people, but I'm personally able to change my diet easily and quickly. My diet's already pretty low maintenance. I essentially only eat, like, cheap meats and vegetables. So when it comes to just trying to count it all up and trying to figure out how much it is, it's just so fucking boring and so just...
Yeah.
If I could just, like, eat what I'm eating and then just, like, go work out and not have to worry about the numbers, it would be so much easier.
Yeah, you can just don't eat sugar. If you just cut out sugar, most Americans would lose a ton of weight, myself included. But it's hard, because it's addicting, because it's what your body wants, because it's the processed already version of all the carbs and stuff, and literally becomes energy.
Yeah.
It's weird to think about, but it's nice to think about that every pound you lose is approximately negative 3,500 calories. So it is literally a numbers game. So if you just think, okay.
If you're really into math, then it's great.
Yeah, like I burned this many calories this day, and so if I just don't eat food, as much, I will lose weight.
Yeah. That's something that, like, more people need to learn is gamification. Just, like, making everything in games.
Yes. It's really fun.
Yeah. I forget what I did that with. It was, I kind of did it with, like, fasting, I guess. It's like, I'm kind of hungry, but I want to, like, I don't really want to eat anything. So I'm just going to tell my body, I'm fasting today. And then my body, like, kind of adjusts and, like, starts, like, using the fat in my body more. And, like, holy shit, I'm awesome.
Yeah. I think the classic example of that for me is the one where, like, the game, the phone app game where you run to outrun zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say there's a ton of really cool...
That, blowing my dick off to it, Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of really cool phone gamification apps. One I use is called Mastery, and the whole gimmick is, you're trying to, get to the point like 10,000 hours where you're a master of something.
Yeah.
And so you have, like, rewards, and you can purchase rewards, like, playing video games or whatever, for doing the skills you want to grow. And it's nice just to keep track of how many, like, things am I doing, and,
I think that will help a lot of, scatterbrained tulpamancers and stuff to organize the things better, know, like, how much I'm doing of this and that.
You could even say, tulpa forcing is a skill, like it literally is, like anything else.
Yeah.
So you get better at it, you gotta practice, and people don't think about it as much.
I know, like, there's like people who are really like schedule heavy and like always schedule everything, and those type of people who like already kind of gamify everything. And there are those who don't really care. And I think that those who don't really care should like lean into gamification to help them kind of manage themselves better.
I agree. I think it does help, but the biggest problem with those is gamification is burnout, because you do it for like a week and you're like, yeah, this feels good, and then like day 1 of week 2, it's like, I don't want to do any of this.
Yeah.
And then you just stop, and then like 3 months later, you're like, I should do that, and you do it for a week again, and then day 2.
I just realized. Pickup artistry is gamification.
It kind of is, when you think like it becomes a goal oriented rather than finding someone you love.
Yeah, I just realized that. That actually makes a lot of sense.
They say a lot of the problems with American work culture is because it's not gamified. Because humans just want to make things play.
Yeah.
And we spend so much time trying to beat it into humans. No, this is work. This is bad.
Exactly.
You can't have fun. And it's why a lot of people are unhappy.
Yeah, even my job, they like do little things like if you do X, the most, you'll get a little reward kind of thing.
Yeah. I just think it's in general, it's true. If you treat your employees well, they'll work harder. But it's I guess the fine line, because most businesses don't care enough to train employees well enough to where you can treat them well enough.
Oh yeah, at my last job, I was like taught how to do half of what I was supposed to do, and then the other half was like, you'll figure it out on your own.
You'll figure it out.
And then when I did do it and fucked up, they were like, why didn't you do this how we wanted it? It's like, tell me your secrets!
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you can't listen to music, you can't do these things, and it's like, I'm just doing the same garbage 8 days a day. They used to like telling me I can't listen to music.
I know it's dumb, but like at school, the only times I would care was when they made it a game. Like they would like they made like a quiz one time. Like we'd split into teams and would like quiz everyone in each team or like fight. And I'd be like really upset when like one of my teammates went up because they knew they didn't care and I cared about winning. And I was like, it's like they're doing like a Jeopardy and like what is 1776? I like got really into the games in school.
The musical.
And that actually I think if schools did that more, then they could teach better.
I think it's kind of, a lot of people don't know how to lose though either, which is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know how to lose and still enjoy or still have a good time. It's probably a symptom of our culture. But well, I just enjoy competitive games, and so many of my friends are just like, I'll beat someone in a competitive game, and they're just like, never playing it again.
Well, for me, it's just like every time I lose, it's like, oh, I've learned my lesson. I'm ready to win the next time. That's how I see it.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm ready for a rematch.
There's something very. Oh, sorry, Brett.
No. I was just gonna say, like, from personal experiences, I play a lot of, as Lowell knows, and I think Charles knows, I play a lot of Magic: The Gathering. Yeah. And when it comes down to like going out to do tournaments, small tournaments at my local game store, I usually get quiet after I lose, but that's not because like I'm salty or I'm angry. It's mostly just thinking of like,
what you could have done.
How the fuck could I have gotten myself out of this predicament?
Yeah.
So, and it feels really bad when you're sitting there and thinking about it, and then you actually get salty when somebody comes over and is like, "Stop being mad, bitch," and you're like, "Ah."
Yeah, that's always frustrating. People say you should be salty, or people insinuate, you kind of just gotta let people deal with losing and things on their own. But it's also it can be very frustrating when you have a friend who is salty at you, and it's like, especially I feel like I'm a very nice, try to be well-mannered person, and I try to be very like positive, like, oh, you're doing well in these ways.
The most I do is I say get wrecked, and that's it.
Yeah. Sometimes people deserve it. And internet games are just the worst, though, competitively.
Yeah.
League of Legends took 5 years off my life,
God damn. Yeah.
Shortened my lifespan by 10 years.
Trust me, as somebody who's still playing it now,
competitive games, there's just something so satisfying about the instant gratification of, I'm getting better at this, It's, you get that same gratification from art, from skills.
Yes.
But just games, it's a literal game. You don't have to gamify it. It already is.
that's what I do with videos. Is every time I make a video, I try to learn something new, or try a new technique every video, kind of thing. And then I'm like, oh, I learned a new skill.
That's what I try to do competitive games, so I'm trying to do that in art, trying to do that in, all sorts of things, and it's hard to keep up. Definitely, way harder than something like a video game.
Yeah.
So, but
actually, bring that up. That reminds me, Charles. I really like that edit you did in your, I think, most recent video, the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Human, the one where, like, I think at like 10 minutes in the video or however long in the video, you just bring up the cursor and move the YouTube video from, like, I think whatever time it was
to an hour.
Yeah, that was a really great edit. I like that.
Yeah, that was just a green screen of. I just recorded a green screen, 1 hour long green screen. That's what I did for that.
Damn, that's still really good. I like that. But I think people getting angry at video games is honestly it's honestly scary at sometimes. Watching, because, like...
Oh, yeah. I have one friend from high school who has anger issues, and I'm always scared to play games with him.
Yeah, because especially when using a previous example, when you go to, like, a local game store and you play a game of Magic and you have no idea what the guy's like, and you beat him and all of a sudden he just fucking slams his fist on the table and says, "Alright, good game." Like, it's so, like, polar opposite, and it's like,
It's crazy from, it's a very stark, like, oh, this person's just different than me. They're, like, mad about this, like, and, you can say it's like, oh, it's just a game, but this person's taking this very seriously, and when people get physical about something that isn't important, it's scary. And
yeah,
it's stuff like that leads to, people shooting each other at the Circle K. It's like, I don't want to get shot for beating someone in Melee.
Yeah. Wait, Circle K is in America?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a Canadian thing.
No.
So there was Sergeant Reckless, and there was Watchuk, and then there's Judy the dog, and I'm beating up on them. So Judy the dog was a ship's dog in the Royal Navy in World War II, and she was able to hear incoming aircraft, providing the crew an early warning and stuff. And then the ship she was on was sunk, and Judy was nearly killed at being trapped, but she was rescued by the crewmen, and they were on a deserted island. Judy then found a fresh water source, saving them all. And and they Judy and the crew eventually found by the Japanese, became prisoners of war. And Judy was the only dog to ever be registered as an official prisoner of war with the number 81A, Medan or whatever.
Do they eat her?
No. She just lived as some aircraftsman, Frank Williams or whatever, after the war. But yeah, she was part of the ship crew and then found them water later on when they were stranded. So she's a war dog.
How do you take a dog prisoner? How can you do that to a dog?
I know, right?
I feel so bad.
It's they take all the soldiers criminal and then they tell the dog to scram. It's like, no, you're a prisoner too.
Yeah. And the dog's just like, oh, friends. And it's like, no.
You're my prisoner. It's like, thank you, master.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Animals in war is such a crazy thing. I know they try to train dolphins to do a lot of stuff. Humans are very resourceful.
When you don't want to send yourself to war, send your animals.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what before they actually I read about this before they actually train dogs from birth to be in war. They would actually draft dogs from people's families and stuff to be trained. Yeah, it was after World War II. We were like, okay, now we're actually just gonna buy and train dogs to be helping war efforts and stuff. But before that, in World War I and II, they would say that you can draft your dog and stuff and have the dog trained, and they would leave their families and everything. I'm like, oh my god, no.
That's so sad.
It is really sad. If your dog died, and send you the letter and everything that you would do for a human that died. Give him an honorable discharge.
That's a shame.
I know, it's so sad. Are you crying?
Fuck the draft.
Oh, he's dog draft.
The dog draft.
I would send my puppy to Canada to dodge the draft. To dog the draft.
I'll gladly take it.
I'm seriously, if they reinstate the draft, I'm bouncing. It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
But I'm also a skilled professional, so hopefully I won't get.
You just send your tulpas to war. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll draft my Tulpa.
Tulpa's fight at the astral plane.
Oh god. That's where the real war is being held. All these sheeple and their mortal plane.
We're fighting a two-front war on the field and in our minds.
It's like
you don't understand what I've paid for this country.
It's like water is the navy, land is the army, air is the air force, astral plane is the astral corps.
Oh my god. Astral warfare.
If another Tulpa kills your Tulpas, you just immediately become brain dead.
Tulpa spy warfare to like sneak into, enemy territory and like inject Tulpas into the enemy's brain to like spy on them.
There's definitely there's a piece of media here for this.
Yeah,
this is something we've got.
They need to have a series like the psychic like divisions were real and they like fought on the astral plane and shit.
Cut it out of the podcast. This is my new book.
The Men Who Stare at Goats 2, Electric Boogaloo.
An idea I've had forever, and I don't know if I'll ever use it. But it was the astral plane is real, but unironic. So every single person that thinks they're on the astral plane actually is, and it just would be a fish out of water story of some old man coming back to the astral plane, and now it's full of like furries and weeaboos. And he has to do some important task and just like has to deal with all these random kinds of people. That one's free if you can use that if you actually make something.
Did I say that? Talked about that with like when we create like fursonas and furry OCs and furry stories, they're all set in the furryverse, like a shared story that all furries create when they create furry OCs and we'll play them on Twitter and shit.
It's an egregore.
So like all furry roleplays take place in the same universe. All furry OCs exist on this, fictional setting. So it's like a giant D&D campaign.
The furry cinematic universe?
Yes.
Oh god.
It's amazing.
I don't want to, I don't have a persona, but I don't want my hypothetical persona to be in the same universe as those people.
It like enters there and immediately gets like hit with a bike pump and exploded.
I'm gonna get bored.
Bike pump. Somebody shoves a bike pump down his throat and dies immediately. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, my OC.
Have you ever heard of the game Hellmoo?
No.
Oh god. So there's an MMO, of course, everyone knows. But there's an MOO, which is a text-based MMO, basically.
Yeah.
And so Hellmoo, yeah, I don't remember exactly what it... I'll look up quickly what it stands for. But basically, Hellmoo is, kind of like Zork or something, but all text-based and all multiplayer, so you can do every sexual deviant thing you want to.
Oh, yeah.
Game.
You mean the thing of the champions, you mean?
No.
Cock?
Corruption of Champions is an actual porn.
Yeah.
This is a weird MMO thing.
And like if two people have like furry OCs and they're like dating, and then like the furry OCs are dating in the furryverse, this is the astral plane but furries.
I have not had the fortune of having this type of relationship, but it is a weird thing. Is if like both people have Tulpa and they're dating each other? It's like, are you Tulpa dating, or like by technicality? Like, it's very confusing.
Yeah, wouldn't it be weird if you're just dating someone's Tulpa online, and then the regular person hates you?
Your Tulpa's dating someone, but you're not? So
yeah.
Then are you in a relationship?
And then you guys get, like, you marry to Tulpa and, like, live with him, but only, like, every once in a while when the Tulpa takes over, you guys make out.
I remember there were people talking in a community where this was some famous copy pasta, where, like, his Tulpa was talking to someone and the person didn't know it was a Tulpa. And that person was falling in love with this person's Tulpa through the internet, and it's like, oh no.
But that was the thing. Like a guy was cucked by his Tulpa because like the girl was really interested in his Tulpa. It's like, you have a Tulpa, right. Tell me about it. Let me talk to him. And then him and his Tulpa would like meet one more until eventually Tulpa's like, she doesn't want to talk to you. She wants to talk to me. I'm gonna go for it. You stay behind.
I remember this.
I get cooked by my Tulpa.
Becomes the dominant personality. Also, I looked it up. Moo as in Hellmoo stands for mud-orientated object.
Nice.
I don't know what mud stands for, so it just raises
it's
more
like slime
questions.
corp.
But there's a wild world out there of furry role-playing, astral planes, Tulpa forcing, Stay safe, kids. Don't get bored.
Live action vor. I ate 10 men and I just wanted more. Because Jaden Smith in the middle of the pile, philosophizing but still in denial.
Oh no.
Anything else anyone else want to talk about before we end? It's been...
Y'all want to talk about early internet animations?
Oh, like what? Like there was one guy who did the end of Z World, then he redid it in 2016 to be about Trump, and I'm like, oh my god, no.
I'm not very well found on the topic.
Remember Kerblifer?
I think
Kerblifer, yes.
I remember watching all of Tome.
Same. Holy shit, same. I remember playing Borderlands 2, sitting there in my fucking room playing Borderlands 2. One TV had Borderlands 2 on the TV, and the other one was my screen for my computer that was hooked up. One screen had Tome, the other one had Borderlands 2, and I beat the whole game with watching Tome.
Fucking Tome. And there was this Tome ripoff that was like Sonic characters I saw.
I am unaware of what this is. Can someone?
It's basically like a story set in a fictional MMO. It's kind of like Sword Art Online or .hack. It's like one of those stories. Yeah. But it's just a Newgrounds Flash animation made in the early 2000s by Kerblifer.
I think it was remade recently.
Yeah, it was all animated and everything in real, not in Flash.
Yeah. Oh shit, I think that actually had a JonTron reference in it, didn't it?
Shit. I just said, I remember because, Kerblifer self-inserted himself as an OC, as, the main character's friend, Kerblifer.
Yeah.
That was great. I want to make a thing where, I'm self-inserted as, the love interest or something. Did you... Actually, I remember there was, okay, you guys aren't going to know anything about this, but in a Teen Titans comic book back in, the 80s or whatever, the character who married, Wonder Woman's, younger Teen Titan counterpart was just one of the writers who self-inserted himself.
Oh no!
And everyone always talks about it because they had a whole issue where I think it was Diana, whoever, I forget who it is, but Teen Titans version of Wonder Woman is has a marriage to this normal human guy who just happens to look a lot like one of the writers for the comic.
Yeah.
Powerpuff.
And I'm I fucking wish I could... Yeah, the Powerpuff guy who, self-inserted him as, Buttercup. Yeah. Blossom's love interest. Wouldn't that be the ultimate thing if you can, become a writer on your favorite series and then have your character marry your crush, your waifu?
What a dream.
The big brain is instead of adapting an existing property to insert yourself in it, is to design an entirely new property and get it famous.
Yeah.
And then you're famous as a self-insert, the biggest brain. No one will know.
It's amazing. It's just if you think about chaos magic and astral shit, that's some serious chaos magic to make your character marry your waifu in a super popular series. That's gonna make the real life equivalent of your waifu marry you. That's how chaos magic works. That's how hypersigils work. That's what Grant Morrison said happened when he wrote The Invisibles, so that he self-inserted himself as the main cool guy that the main character learns from, and the main cool guy had a hot redhead as a sidekick that he made out with all the time, and then a real life redhead he became attracted to him after that book was published, and it's see, I manifested reality. And I'm dude, you're fucking awesome. I'm gonna buy all your comics.
Bless.
I only read the first couple of issues of Invisibles. I need to finish it. That's chaos magic for you.
There's so many comics to read.
So many comics.
I think we're done. I don't know what else we have to talk about.
I don't got anything.
Alright. That's AstralTulpaWizardCast or whatever the fuck this is.
That was the AstralTulpa podcast from the Astral Plane. Thank you for listening in. Everybody say their goodbyes.
I've been Lolel, and you've been cool.
Charles, you're up next.
I'm Charles, and you're my tulpa.
And I'm Bread, and I'm cool.
Bye.
Good night and good day. Good bang, goodbye.
Shebang.
Shebang, shaboom.